I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
Donald Trump is not a president in the sense that we imagine a president to be. In a way, he is very weird and out of place. When we think of the aesthetics of the president, a man like Donald Trump isn't the one who comes to mind. Now, don't take me wrong, I am not specifically targeting Trump. You might as well think of Donald Trump. When you think of the president, my point is you won't think of a man like Donald Trump. In almost every sense, he is different from what presidents used to be. Over 32 presidents had previous military experience, 27 were lawyers, and at least 20 had previously held a government office. But only one of the presidents was neither a government official nor in the military: Donald Trump. Now, what do we know of a man before he becomes a president? They are probably seen in the military, rising through the ranks, or as politicians, campaigning, and eventually becoming representatives, senators, governors, and finally the president.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
Throughout this journey, we see a specific side of those politicians. They are politically correct for the time they are in and for their side.
I think it's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make.
The United States is committed to strengthening our energy security and confronting global climate change. And the best way to meet these goals is for America to continue leading the way toward the development of cleaner and more energy-efficient technology.
They have an eloquent way of speaking and a built-up persona of being for the people. They do have their share of dirty laundry or businesses, but those are kept in the background, and the presidents actively try to avoid their association with any of those things.
And there is no credible charge that I violated any law, even way back.
It also does help that your entire persona is built around not being associated with all those things. But with Trump, the dirty laundry in itself takes the front seat.
Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
Before Trump ever ran for president, he was quite literally known for being the things his contemporaries despised: flamboyant, rich, elite, far from the lives of the average American, and, most importantly, extremely popular. So, Trump had no choice but to adapt his past and double down upon it. Throughout the Republican primaries in 2016, Donald Trump was brash.
You know, you started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further.
Loud, sarcastic,
This is a tough business to run for president.
I know, you're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to
and everything but graceful.
Donald, you're not going to be able to insult your way to the presidency. That's not going to happen.
He continued. Despite constant pushback from the media and other politicians, Trump continued the same impetuous ways of publicizing himself.
With the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
And won. You see, Trump was more of a marketing genius than a businessman. He's failed in more than 10 businesses yet as a billionaire because the one business he didn't fail in was insecurity. After successfully building his iconic Trump Tower in New York, Trump started actively getting in the limelight. He used to call various magazines in New York to give leads on himself, and sometimes even pay them to write about him. Soon, through these marketing gigs, Donald Trump became associated with rich opulence, the elite class, and a flashy lifestyle. And the Trump brand was born. Various businesses, from real estate to hotels, from ties to water bottles, bought the Trump brand to sell to insecure people hoping to be associated with the elite lifestyle Trump showcased. These branding deals slowly propelled Donald Trump into superstardom, where he even got a TV show that lasted 14 years. But all of this is just the past. It's the road that led Trump to the White House. The road was definitely weirder than the road other presidents took to the White House, but it was just that, a road. Most presidents, including Donald Trump, have certain things in common, like having at least a little bit of narcissistic tendencies. You, for the life of yourself, can't reach the most powerful throne in the world without trying to benefit yourself most of the time to get closer to the throne. What most presidents do is they try to hide this side, whereas Trump flips it over and owns it.
One of the greatest provisions for people like me, to be honest with you. I give up a lot when I run because I knock out the tax code. And she could have done this years ago, by the way. She was a United States senator. She complains that Donald Trump took advantage of the tax code. Well, why didn't she change it? Why didn't you change it when you were a senator? The reason you didn't is that all your friends take the same advantage that I do, and I do.
Creating the perception that his opponent is living a big fat lie and uses this very perception to win. But if you are willing to look over these perceptions, Trump isn't too different of a president than others until he becomes the president.
John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God. Congratulations, Mr. President.
The President of the United States of America, it's the most powerful throne in the entire world. Donald Trump had been hanging around with social media personalities, at podcast shows, attending different events, personalizing himself with normal Americans. Memes are being made upon him, and he is in on them too, almost like he is one of us. Just that he heads the world's most powerful military, which operates in every corner of this planet. He controls the CIA and the FBI, who know you as you watch this video. He handles the educational policies that would affect your future, the health sector that would affect your entire family and yourself, from space to what you would eat for dinner. That's what Donald Trump can control from the throne of the president. With all the weird things that Trump pulled lately and has been doing, people often forget how big of a difference that added president tag can make. When Trump took charge as president for the first time in 2016, just 7 days in, Trump pulled out a travel ban, but it was only for 7 predominantly Muslim-majority countries. Muslim is the big word here. Even though Trump hails from the right-wing Republican Party and the majority of his supporters were in support of this bill too, but as the president of the world's most powerful democracy, one has to consider the far-reaching consequences of the decisions they would make if they sideline a single community. How much of this would be a signal to other countries to behave the same way, since the big United States has set the standard? How much of it would impact the global influence the U.S. has maintained? Unlike most presidents, Trump doesn't consider all that and goes ahead with his travel ban.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
After a few months, Trump withdrew from the Paris Agreement in June 2016, citing an unfair burden on U.S. taxpayers and businesses.
This agreement gives foreign bureaucrats control over how much our energy and how much we use right here in America. No way. We're going to cancel the Paris Climate Agreement and stop all payments of the United States tax dollars to UN global warming programs.
The U.S.'s exit from the agreement opened the door for other countries, such as China and the European Union, to take on more prominent roles in global climate leadership. However, it also encouraged some other countries to take climate change less seriously. This again got Trump a lot of backlash from the other side, but not from his supporters. This is what was expected from him. Then he started the trade wars with China, then a zero-tolerance immigration policy which led to the separation of thousands of migrant children from their parents at the U.S.-Mexico border, and the cycle continued. First, make an unconventional decision.
I'm going to be signing a national emergency,
which if any other president makes, he faces disapproval from both sides. But just because you have created this persona of always being your true self.
The reason you didn't is that all your friends take the same advantage that I do. And I do.
And not something people would like to see. Unlike other presidents, you have these core group of people who believe in you and support your unconventional decisions and are ready to cover it up as a decision taken for the greater good of the country. And then you have this other group who hate you more than they have ever hated any other president because you aren't a conventional president. You make decisions that are rash.
So I'm going to be signing a national emergency.
And whatever their purpose may be, for them the collateral damage outweighs its results, or sometimes it's just the results they don't like. And as you are the president of the most powerful country, it affects the entire world. Soon, just because of you, the world starts getting divided between two extremely emotionally driven groups. And this causes people to lose their jobs and their friends, marriages to fail, children to stop talking to their parents, shops to get vandalized, people to get killed, hatred amongst the hearts and hatred in the air. Now you as Trump may argue that you are not the reason why all this happened. It was already building up and Trump was just a result of it. If not Trump, could it have been anybody else? No, it had to be Trump.
President of the United States.
The former president's comeback will be complete with a win in Wisconsin.
American society believes in God, guns, family, tradition, movies, music, and money. More than two genders, only two genders, oil, and America in itself.
I've been now around long. I think of myself as a young guy, but I'm not so young anymore. And I've been around for a long time. And it just seems that the economy does better under the Democrats than the Republicans.
Donald Trump is a non-believer. No matter what you believe Donald Trump believes in, he doesn't.
Well, I'm
very pro-choice.
He has seen America evolve for decades and decades.
I've been now around long. You know, I think of myself as a young guy, but I'm not so young anymore.
And has had an eagle's view over the country. Trump has seen America become a shadow of its past self. The American dream that was once a reality has eaten itself. It has turned into a web of lies and deceit woven by the people who have the eagle's view. Trump used the same technique of selling a dream to win the elections, while completely admitting he is indeed part of the elite.
The reason you didn't is that all your friends take the same advantage that I do, and I do.
There could not have been anyone else in that group of eagles who could have pulled this off. Because firstly, Trump has always been a salesman, and secondly, his self-evident tenure as a president. Donald Trump had no reason to continue his unconventional ways once he became the president, which also caused the divide we see in American people today. But he still did because that's what Trump is. Or maybe that's the reason he, of all the eagles, was chosen to be the president.
If you pull the right strings, a puppet will dance any way you desire.
Right? Make America great again. I say it.